people say that Color PPF is only for the pros, but today we're going to try to see if we can do it with a pre-cut DIY PPF color kit. So what I have here is actually a colored PPF. And you've probably heard the term PPF, and that stands for paint protection film. But back in the day, when I say back in the day, literally 5-10 years ago, maybe even more, it was literally just clear. And then after that, they came out with a matte film, which was actually muting the color, which was pretty cool. But now they have an array of colors, and they have colored infused PPF, which means, look at this. This is actually sand black PPF. And we're doing some testing with this, and we are going to be doing the door. And I know that not everybody is familiar with PPF, so we're going to do a very, very quick demo. But basically, what we have here is we have the blue bottle, the red bottle. Typically, we always use the blue bottle for what we call slip solution. Basically, dishwash soap and just water. It keeps the film slipping, right? And it also allows you to move it around and position the alignment of the film. What we have here is a red bottle, which is actually a water and alcohol mix. But this flushes out this, which thus activates adhesive and creates a grab, which tacks the film into the car more aggressively than normal, right? And of course, we have a bunch of squeegees, what we're going to be using. I'm going to try, I do have a knife, but I'm going to try avoiding using this because I think that's how we can make it DIY, is avoiding using all of this knives that is dangerous to the car. Of course, we have some microfibers right over here. So before I put this on, make sure you click on that subscribe button. We love making videos like this, but it also helps us if you click on that button. So make sure you do that. So let me go ahead, and the first step we're going to do is we did wipe this down already. You'll notice right here, I already have the trim removed, right? There is a way you could not remove it, but I just felt like I always have to weigh it. Like, is it worth doing it? The amount of time, is there a return? And I think there is. You'll get better coverage. It'll be nicer. It'll look more professional. And what we're trying to do is, if you're going to DIY it and you're going to spend the money, it's not going to be like insanely cheap. So if you're going to do it, I feel like you should aim for professional results. And that's just my opinion. But what I'm doing is I'm just hydrating the whole car, and it's ready to go. And then once that's ready, I'm going to go ahead and start hydrating this piece. So right here, here's the door. I have a cutout, the big door. All right. So honestly, here's the hardest part, peeling this. If you have a friend, that helps. But what I'm actually going to do, since I don't have help right now, I'm just using it as a, I just sprayed some water so it sticks a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and spray slip solution on the top layer as well, as you see right here. And just start peeling it away. Okay. When you don't have the slip solution underneath, it gets really, really sticky. It does have a decent grab, so you really want to make sure that you have a good amount, okay? So I'm kind of gradually doing this a little bit at a time. If you have someone holding, it does make it a little bit easier for sure. Okay, continue to hydrate it. And you can kind of see what's top and what's bottom. Right here. So that's actually the cutout for the handles. And I'll kind of explain that once we get to that point. And then I'm just going to pull it all the way out, right? And then I'm going to try to, wow, kind of screw that up. But that's part of it. And this is why we test it, you know. Well, I royally screwed that one up. I might actually suggest people to kind of get it on the table and basically spray it underneath it before putting it on, because that was a little hard. Or you could do something called a reverse roll method. I probably should have done it and then just went out. But I don't know. I was trying to figure out different ways, I guess, try to get a little bit crazy with it. But you can see if you don't hydrate it, how difficult it can be to actually get it off each other. All right, so I finally got that. I'm gonna go ahead and spray underneath it. Continue to spray this area. And there you go. All right, so that was a lot harder than I anticipated. And like I said, there's a couple other techniques I probably should have tried, but I mean, it is what it is. And you go ahead and loosely align it. So if you notice, because I have all this slip solution, I can put my palm like this and move it around. So I'm gonna go grab a seat and then start aligning everything. So for me, I think the most obvious alignment point is gonna be that handle. We cut it in a way where you get a lot more coverage in the bottom. Why? When you look down at a car, most people are about, let's say, an average American. I don't actually know that data, but let's say they're 6 foot tall. I'm 5'10", 5'11". They look down, they're gonna be able to see that. So you want the most coverage in the bottom, so when you see it, you don't see the color of the original car. So I got that aligned actually pretty good. And then we have really good coverage elsewhere right here. So honestly, very, very happy with that. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and see if I could tack it. The other part that I'm gonna look for is this area and this area somewhat even, right? Because not only do you want the handle to be aligned, you want kind of the sides to be even as well. So once you are ready, I'm gonna go ahead and spray my tack solution around that area. I'm not going crazy hard on it, okay? Right now, all I'm trying to do is just kind of get it in place, right? You don't wanna drag the film, so that's all I'm doing right now, okay? So look at that, that looks phenomenal. I think that looks great. I need a little bit more material, I think, over here already when I look at that. By the way, this is a prototype. We've been testing this, it's close though. I'm really excited about it. And basically what I'm doing with this tack solution is getting rid of some of that slip solution around. And by doing that, it will tack that area, right? So it's getting rid of that soap. When you get rid of the soap, it actually flushes it out and this starts becoming a little bit more intact. So you can see right here, this is starting to kind of adhere, which is great, right? And for those of you who are new into the PPF world, what I'm doing is you want to spray a lot of slip solution on top as well, because if you don't, you're going to drag it with the squeegee and you could actually create marks. But also, it'll create, it's not actually going to do what it's supposed to do and glide across and get the water underneath it out, right? So now that we're good, whoops, we're going to go ahead and just move this around, get rid of some of the bigger bubbles. And honestly, the alignment looks phenomenal right here. Look at that. So I'm going to use the body line right here, right? There's a body line that naturally goes. And I'm going to go ahead and use a different squeegee. I love this angle one. It's one of my favorites that I use. And we're going to go ahead and spread it across. And we're going to work on that body line first. And then I'm going to go ahead and move it from one side to another. And look at that. That's a beautiful color. This is a classic. I mean, you just can't go wrong. I mean, I love this color, but people who like that darker look and more aggressive look, this is like perfect for that. So I can go ahead and move some of that material. And you can see I'm getting all this solution out of there. So I understand this is going to be pretty, I think, I don't know if I could say controversial, but I know a lot of people are going to say it's impossible. But here's where I think it's changing, and I'm still figuring that out. But I think that the material itself, we've been in the industry for a decent amount of time, and it's just changed a lot, and it's gone so much better, and it's just improved so much over the last, honestly, 2 years, where it's just getting easier and easier. The tech is getting better, which means that it's just becoming easier for, honestly, beginners or just people who are getting started to just get into it. So, excuse the air compressor. So what I'm doing now is I'm continuing to spray this down. I want to make sure I spray underneath as well, okay? And I'm just gonna kind of get it all down without any bubbles, okay? So, here's the part that's gonna be fun, because we're gonna start aligning everything by using some tack solution. So right here in the corner, And go ahead and spray that. Spray it into the PPF as well. And I just want just a little bit past it. Okay? Okay, I'm gonna burn that corner. When I say burn that, I literally mean it. Like, you basically use a torch and you burn the corners in PPF. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna give it that space. Honestly, I'm gonna go ahead before it gets worse. I'm just gonna go and open this. So let's come around a little bit. All right, so I get a little bit better coverage. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and spray some more tack into that area and this area. This tack, watch. It starts to hold a little bit better right here. And then look at that coverage, it's pretty good. Okay, my corner is good. I'm happy with it. Now I'm gonna go to the other side. Not happy with this. This doesn't look good. And that's the difference between normal PPF. We do the corner something like this. And you just need to go a little bit like a 2 millimeter before the edge. And you actually don't want it right on the edge because it'll fail. Color PPF, you cannot do that though. And I think that's part of the reason why they said it's only for the pros. So you actually have to do full coverage. And that's where the torch comes in, right? So we're gonna go ahead and spray some more. I'm gonna change the nozzle right there and push this out into this area. Same thing here. You see, I'm barely actually stretching this, but all I'm doing is just moving this material across right there. Just holding it down with my finger. And then once I have it down, I can actually squeegee it. And then spray some more tack. There you go. So now we have the two basically anchored on both corners. And then the rest becomes a little bit easier. Actually, there's one more anchor right here in the bottom. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and anchor this. Look at that. All right, so now one tip, guys, for those of you who are just starting to do PPF, once you tack one area, you cannot go back, right? You have to go somewhere else. So if you put more slip solution into that area, it gets trapped because alcohol blocks that area. That exit is no longer an exit. So I'm not gonna go back to that. And remember, I have 1, 2, 3. Just remember that and you'll be good. We're gonna go ahead and start squeegeeing everything out. We'll go ahead and spray some more slip solution all around. Actually, that's still intact, so that's good. Okay, and basically, I'm gonna go ahead. And here's the thing about vinyl, we do both, right? But vinyl is more of a smoother motion. With PPF, I realized it's a little bit more stabby motion, smaller motions, and that's just the difference. Okay, I'm not really sure if that's a defect. I guess when we had the two adhesive kind of go against each other, that's probably what happened. This is a material we're testing, so we don't actually know yet. I'm gonna hold this down so I could give it less tension and continue to work everything down. Actually, none of that stayed down, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some tack. Watch what happens when look at that. That tack really just keeps it down. So what I'm doing next, guys, is I'm doing a double take. I'm going away from the tack point right here, but basically just doing one more squeegee motion so I can make sure I didn't miss any bubbles. So I'm gonna go ahead, go away, exit point right here. Going a little bit harder in terms of force. I'm not still muscling it really. There's a little bit of fingers right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray some more tack solution. Great. So that, my friend, is pretty much it. But what I'm gonna do next is basically just kind of get this door handle down. I'm gonna see with this film, can I actually start pushing it down or do I have to wait a little bit? So what we typically do, let's say I bring this down right here. I'm gonna go ahead and push it in and see if it holds, okay? So you can see, Some areas did hold, some areas did not. Oh yeah, that's holding. Look at that edge. Fabulous. Okay, and I'm gonna actually push this in, and that is pretty dang good. Look at that edge right there. That's so good. All right, so now the corners create a little bit more tension, but notice how I just use my finger. And then this is actually a good time to do that. Just using the tip of this, open the door a little bit. And I think this is the part where Color PPF has really just advanced, is this part. Honestly, doing the edges is actually much harder than actually getting the film to lay down most of the time. And that's still, I think, very much true to this day. But I have seen it improve dramatically, I think, the last 2 years in terms of Color PPF. And that's why we're exploring this option, right? Can it actually be done? Or does it still belong to the pros? Here's another technique too. A lot of professionals tend to let this dry out and then they go after it and put some heat. That helps really well. But sometimes it's better to just do it like this. So I mean, this is a good test. Awesome. So that wasn't bad. Let me just show you this. Look at that. It went all the way in. You can obviously see a little bit of that silver, but I'm very impressed. It stays down, and you can see that it actually adhered, even though it was literally, what, 4 minutes after I just put this in place. So a couple things that I'm going to definitely update this design a little bit is that handle, flawless. I think that's pretty dang good. It's a perfect amount. This is actually the same design that I took from the DIY vinyl wrap kit for the Highland, which, I mean, they're the same handle, so I was able to kind of share some of those. So look, for this video, I don't think we have to do all the edges, but I do want to show some of the edges that are standard, which is going to be like this side right here, and also maybe this side. And then I do want to like burn a corner perhaps, just to kind of show you what it entails. And again, this is not a full design, this is still a prototype. So let's go ahead and talk about this edge right here. So I'm not going to do all of this. Let's go ahead and get this down. And what you want to do is, this design in particular goes all the way in like that. Do you need all the way in? No, we could probably shorten that a little bit, but I do want a lot more coverage, because if you actually just put it right here, it actually holds a decent amount of dirt right there. So I think it's just better that you get full coverage. I mean full coverage. So this is what it'll look like. You can see super clean. Once the trim actually goes on top, it'll make it look flawless, honestly. All right, so let's get this down. I'm gonna make a cut actually, because I do need to edit this design a little bit. There's a small cut right there. And then let's get all these edges right here. Typically when you do edges, you always wanna do high points like here first. Well, that's actually exactly what I'm gonna do. Okay, you wanna distribute that. You can see me just kind of push this down, kind of aggressively, little by little, and it just sticks. I mean, it's phenomenal. Again, I feel like it wasn't like this like 3 years ago when it first came out, and I love it now. Okay, so I got all my edges down, and that's really what all the edges is gonna look like. So here's the part that's gonna be difficult. So one thing you want to do for this area is, you got a lot of tension right here, but I kind of want to burn all of that. So I'm going to just go ahead and do my best to push this down. Typically, you want to do this when it's dry, but I'm going to see if I could do it while it's sort of wet. And what you do with the torch is very, very subtle. Just like that. But what this does is, it's a very high form of heat, if you look at the flame. And that high heat kills the memory. And basically, it's not gonna fail. And on the outer perspective, you can see that corner is perfect. And it, like, for example, like right here, if you wanted to burn it a little bit, look at that. Like that. But that's basically what you do in all the edges. I mean, it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna say this is easy. Like, I'm gonna say that it is not easy at all. However, I do think that it can be possible over time. And that's exactly what we're gonna try to figure out with this kit. I think we have a lot of work to do, but I'm very, very impressed with how the handles worked out. I do think we need to figure out a way to better kind of, I don't know, create an instruction guide to make sure that you can follow the easiest path forward for all this. But you can see the coverage is perfect. It does a really good job. Like, these areas go just a little bit past. I think we can get a little bit less aggressive and go a little bit further in. And that way we can get a little bit better coverage. I do think 2025 is the year of Color PPF. I think it's a really, really good time period to get started in this. If you're a DIYer or if you're a shop owner and you want to offer this, I think this is the perfect time. So to get back to this, do I think this can be done even if you're not a pro? We don't exactly know the answer, but I think so. I think we can figure this out, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. We're gonna get this off, and then we're gonna keep R&Ding. So we'll see you later in the next video. Click on that subscribe button. Peace out.